Hi there. Philip DeFranco Book Club, number 3. Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King. So, let's get down to the brass tacks of it. Didn't like the book. Has nothing to do with anything other than just simply this. I was expecting a standard Stephen King novel. Whenever I was much younger, I read The Gambit. I went through all of his books. So I was kind of expecting that Stephen King seal of approval on it, and I'm sure that it has it. And more about that at the end. But the long of the short is, there was a book he wrote called On Writing. And in On Writing, he talks about how important it is for anyone that wants to become a writer to stay true to their character. To stay true to their characters and to let their characters have their own voice, not to force your own opinion on your characters, and for the language that your characters use to be true to them and to their area. And I really felt like that was a failure in this book. So it was a huge distraction for me the entire time that I was reading it. But with that, also, I can appreciate, after reading the author's note, that he actually kind of gave a nod to that. That him and his son both felt that there was something that just wasn't quite there. It was very subtle in what they said, but the long of it is that when they were talking about it was originally going to be a screenplay for a TV, and then they decided to make it into a book. And they were ghostwriting on top of each other, leaving donuts, and then going back and writing over top of each other. If you listen very clearly at the end of that, you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, so why the feminism in the way that it was? I think that it was a stylized version of feminism that was meant to strengthen the argument of the book. And the argument of the book to me was not about feminism at all, and that's why it aggravated me so just damn much. Because let's be frank about it, feminism is a beautiful thing. You have a couple of different flavors of it. One of them everybody hates, one of them everybody loves, and one of them is very much needed in today's world. You can fill in the gaps for yourself. But the thing about their version of what feminism was in the book being that I am a woman and I am working and I am paying the bills and I do the laundry and I cook for you and I take care of this and I do this and I'm treated so poorly, any self-respecting individual would not put up with that. They wouldn't. Let's just be real. And that is why the whole point of the On Writing that I was talking about earlier, that's why it aggravated me and why it was such a big distraction. Now, what do I think he was trying to do with that? I think that the whole premise of the book was acceptance. I think that the whole thing that they were trying to get to was, we need to accept everybody as a whole. Does that sound like hippy-dippy crap to me? Yes. But do I think that's what he was trying to do? Yes. And here's why. Father and son project. As a father, if I had an opportunity to do stuff with my kid, which I have 3 kids, but I have one that I think is going to do the same type of stuff that I do. And let's face it, everybody's kids are different. They're all beautiful, unique snowflakes, but whenever I look at your kids, they make me think of Goonies. I mean, let's be honest. So, but I got one kid that I think is going to do the same stuff that I'm going to be doing. And with that, if I had an opportunity for him to step into my shoes and my business and build a network, and we would work together and build an infrastructure across the United States of America using fiber-backed planes and backbones, and just make it so that entire businesses can join together using technology, me and him working back and forth together, oh, I would absolutely love it, as any father really would. So I think it was a really good chance for him and his son to have a lot of fun together, which is what I think they did. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So again, I think that the whole point of that book was, we have mankind that has treated womankind absolutely horrible in the real world, but in the story world even more, and especially in this small town that they're talking about. Which, note to Stephen King, please stay in Derry, as you left out the trademark stuff that you usually do, and knowing your geography and your areas and the places that things are at very well. It distracted us. But anyway, the whole thing about the men in the Appalachia area treating the women so poorly and them just being stepping stones, that happens anywhere in America to a degree, and it goes the other way too. Women treat men just absolutely horrible. Everybody treats everybody horrible, and I think that's where he was going with that, is we all need to just take a big chill pill. We all need to see each other for who we are. We all need to accept who we are, and we need to see the worth of whom we are to one another, and we need to move forward with knowing that we can be stronger together than we are without each other. That's where I think that was headed. But then again, there's another book that says that, and then there's another religion that has a book that says that, and all religions kind of say that. So I'm not saying that his book is like that, but you can follow that too. Not a religious individual, but just putting that out there, just so that you know. The whole thing about all of this, though, leading up to Mother Earth, as it were, that was the Stephen King that I know and that I enjoy reading. Stephen King is just, he's so good at that imagery. He's so good at putting you into a fictional area where there are moths coming out of a jaw that has been opened to an unnatural amount. And he must love jaws that open to unnatural amounts. He did that with It, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I read It. I have personal demons when it comes to clowns. Thank you for not making me read It. Seriously, thank you. But, yeah, the jaws opening so very wide for moths. And then the trees with the moths in it. The imagery of the forest with the three animals, like the snake, the tiger, and the little fox. I like that little fox. That was kind of a cool aspect of it, as it being a mover of the story, tying in different people at different times. That was a very neat little transport that he used to be able to get from this person and this person and this person and tie them in using just something as simple as a small animal running. And then there were other aspects of the story that was very interesting as well. Maybe not necessarily my favorite points in the book, but whenever he was talking about the main character, the doc, the younger doc, the one that was working at the prison, him and his wife, and then his estranged girlfriend from way back when, and her daughter that she put his name on the birth certificate about, and causing some these days drama, as it were. Now let's be realistic. In these days and times, if somebody had gone, what was it, by that time, 4 days without sleep, and she found out that baby's daddy's name was on that birth certificate, somebody would have had a shotgun up his butthole and had that pulled, would have had that trigger pulled. I mean, he would have been done. It would have been over. The story would have been ended right then and there. Because one thing's for sure, when people don't get sleep, regardless of what magic pill you try to take, your mind comes apart. You cannot function. And that's a problem with things like that. That's why people should stay away from drugs, because they're bad. There are particular things that are natural, that are okay, but all that stuff that he goes on about in this book, all that is bad, evil stuff. I live in the Appalachian area, kind of, in the basin. I live in Kentucky, and there has been a lot of that kind of stuff in this whole area. It was a lot worse about 6 years ago, but thankfully, law enforcement, way to go. It's been a lot better. But anyway, long and the short, if I were to give it a rating, I would give it 3 out of 5 Philly D heads. So, thank you so much for the recommendation on the book, and I love you beautiful bastards, and we'll see you guys later.